CCTV 101, Installation and Application Guidelines. Connections. Here's a guide to DVR ports and connections. So the first picture we see in the top is a DC 12 volt plug-in. So typically this would have a brick power supply that will plug into a power bar, plug into the DVR NVR to power it. Below are B&C connectors. B&C connectors are coax connectors that push in, twist, and lock in place. You'll find these on your cameras and connections. And the bottom is a VGA connector. This is a connector going out to a monitor, most commonly used with PCs, computers, and those types of things as well. HDMI video output on the top. This is typically what you'll find on your HDMI TVs or other devices, recorders, inputs, etc. And of course we have these on DVRs and NVRs as well. Below there is a B&C output. Same B&C we talked about on the last slide, but this is an output versus an input. So this will be going video out to a monitor or another source, etc. And of course there's a B&C spot out port. This is typically used to do a spot monitor, say at a bank or in front of some type of establishment where they're going to show what cameras are in use. On the top here we have a USB port. This is typically used to plug in a mouse and or a thumb drive. And your thumb drive should be empty if you're going to put your thumb drives in to update firmware and or to put in and download your video onto a thumb drive for handing over for evidence. And of course we have a RJ45 network LAN port. This is what would connect over on the back of the DVR NVR into your router to get internet access to send out your video to your apps, etc. An RCA audio input. This audio input is a RCA jack, typically used in hi-fi and stereo systems. This is for putting in audio. And of course B&C audio inputs are below that in a B&C connector fashion, and a B&C audio output as well. At the very bottom we have an RS-485 PTZ control block. These are control blocks to wire in your pan tilt zoom cameras so we can actually control them remotely, and those are separate cables run out to those types of cameras. There's an alarm sensor block. These alarm sensor blocks allow you to wire into, say, an alarm panel or of course a RS-485 or PTZ control block, etc. Sensors, glass breaks, etc. to essentially activate something in the DVR that it's going to control or send an input on it, and that input of course would then bring up frame rates or start recording and those types of things. Temperature ratings on cameras. Pay attention to these. If you're in cold temperatures, you want to make sure you have the right camera for the cold temperatures in your environment, and of course the IP ratings of those cameras as well for those environments. Always pay attention to recording time on your DVRs and NVRs. There's resolution of your cameras, but of course there's a separate recording resolution you can set up. Setting your device up on motion recording, setting the frames per second, whether it's going to be 10 frames, 15 frames, or 30 frames per second. And the more noise in your pictures will actually create more or take more hard drive space than people realize. And of course, calculating your hard drive space, you can use hard drive calculating tools to help you figure out what you need and how long you're going to get based on the cameras and frame rate that you have. Thanks a lot from Westrep Solutions.